Do you feel like you belong in this world? Sorry to be hitting you with the existential question so soon. It's just that the title of the book we're covering today had me thinking of how I've always felt like a stranger in my own country and in my own home. So I was wondering what the title meant in the context of the story I was about to get into. And my curiosity was satisfied in many strange ways. Sit down and grab a snack, I'ma tell you about it. Stranger Back Home is one of the many books in which our main character, Sparrow, appears. I don't know if we can call it a series since the stories are separate and have only Sparrow in common. But what's good is, thanks to that, I wasn't overly confused going into this particular book. I might need to read more of them though because, well, you'll see. The story opens on Sparrow doing a Q&A about storytelling. I guess he's some sort of author in this universe? I say in this universe because we soon get propelled to an entire different world. Ain't got no time to lose, we go straight from a Q&A to hanging out with wizards and elves. I wish traveling was that easy. So the reason Sparrow leaves right away is because he received a message from his brother saying there's an emergency regarding the will left by their deceased father. He's kind of surprised both by the message and being included in the will. His relationship with his family is a bit rocky. So he leaves Earth Human Sparrow behind to become Dragon's Mouth Gnome Sparrow. I always wondered what it's like to live in a dragon's mouth. That's not true. I never did that. But I still got educated on the subject. I bet you'd like to know. Or not. I'm gonna tell you either way. There's a civilization of different races. Humans, gnomes, elves, you name it. That all live together under a dome. A group of wizards thought it was the best solution to keep the evil dragons out. Because the dragons went from obnoxiously stupid dragons to obnoxiously intelligent dragons. Sparrow's words, not mine. But yeah, because they stopped being primitive and harmless, they needed to get kicked out of what was basically their home. Anyway, seems the dome trick is working, but it also comes with some inconveniences. These people have nowhere to bury their dead, which is very unfortunate because it means they have to find other ways to get rid of the bodies. And their genius idea is burning the bodies with coal that is so crap that, let's say Dragon's Mouth has a little bit of a pollution problem because, remember? Dome. This is even worse than Scadrial. How are these people not suffocating already? I'm asking you, because all I need to do is go outside to suffocate. Never mind the big putrid dark cloud of ashy remains. There you go. This is how it feels like living inside the mouth of a dragon. It stinks. Jokes aside, this is basically all I can remember. The history of Dragon's Mouth is a bit of an info dump. It's not that it wasn't interesting, I just wish it was told in smaller bits because I have the attention span of a dead fish and it was a lot to take in all at once. Unfortunately, it happens again later on a few occasions, but it's mostly a me problem, so it doesn't matter that much. Now let's get back to the jokes. This is about to get wild. As I briefly mentioned earlier, Sparrow is a gnome, which means he's a tiny man. And his description somehow reminded me of another tiny man with a fancy cane and a cute hat. Don't ask me why, it's the first image that came to my mind. Sparrow still needs to make his way home, so he hops on a coach and travels along with a wizard. I forgot his name. Got the attention span of a dead fish and the memory of a dead Dory? We meet Colburn, the coachman. Colburn is a dum-dum. I am a dum-dum, supplied Colburn helpfully. You do be a dum-dum, replied Kaya tactfully. I'm being mean. He's so nice, very endearing. The trip goes well, right until Colburn goes, "Oh gee, Mr. Sparrow, I think we are getting robbed." Next thing you know, they are getting robbed. They are attacked by two orcs, whose names are probably Snake, that immediately became prisoners as soon as the wizard riding with Sparrow woke up from his little nap. He went, on them by saying, and I quote, "Abra-kaboom." What? I'm not kidding. This guy is a pyromancer wizard and it's funny as hell. Ajax the elf enters the scene. First, what a funny name. The only Ajax I know is this one. I thought it was funny. He's a bounty hunter. He was conveniently after those two snakes, so he arrests them and Sparrow can finally make it home. This man has a freaking mansion all for himself. Well, not exactly. He shares this magnificent dwelling with two other people. Arthur, the sole servant that's slightly dead, and Miss Pink, the angsty teenager of the family previously inhabiting this place that's also slightly dead, except she's the blood-liking type of dead as opposed to Arthur that's more like the boo type of dead. Man, I wish going back home meant going back to a manor surrounded with spooky rumors, having a pink-haired anime vampire as a roommate and a ghost for a butler. It's time to get down to business, so Sparrow meets with his half-siblings. And it turns out they never reached out to him. They actually thought that he invited them to discuss the will. Uh-oh, this smells like trouble. Trouble in as well is the kidnapping of Sparrow's stepmother, who appears in the will and is inheriting a mysterious safe with a mysterious item inside. You're curious? Me too. Here starts the strangest adventure I've ever seen in 5 episodes. The ball. Pretty gowns, nice music, and forged invitations. Sparrow infiltrates this fancy party and I was like, cool, we're gonna see some noble sneaky conspiracies. Instead, we got a bloody dance. No, I mean a literal bloody dance. Cause yes, the night turned into tragedy. Not because Sparrow ended it stabbed almost to death by his dance partner. No, it's because the dance was apparently so impressive that he's now known as Mr. Salsa. Y'all, I can't. The hairdresser's salon. Emeritus. That's his name. See, now I wish I didn't remember. No offense, this is a very cool name, but I choose to not pronounce it anymore, so I'm gonna call you Tuss. Tuss introduces Sparrow to a hair salon. Hate those. So naturally, this is the first place that Sparrow is taken to after getting stabbed. Turns out Cutter Luton, the boss around here, isn't only talented at cutting hair. He could also stitch up Sparrow back to life because he's some sort of surgeon too. And, you know, I'm glad he's alive and well, but I don't know if I would personally trust my hairdresser with any part of my body other than my hair. The dinner party. If Mayor Bancroft's goal for the party was to make people never want to come back again, burning dead bodies and serving dragon meat for dinner was a great idea. I should ask him for advice. I'm sick of people remembering I exist and trying to call me all the time. Needless to say, it was a very uncomfortable evening for everybody involved. The bank heist. You heard that right. The mystery box we're after is protected inside the bank and we need it before whoever else is searching for it steals it first. Now that was exciting because it was chaos and we love chaos around here. Dead bodies, kidnappings, no barbecue. Don't ask questions about that one. Sparrow and his friends managed to sneak out the mystery box and run away in time. Not his 2 accomplices, though they were snatched by the villains. Now Sparrow is a wanted criminal, even more popular than the notorious Mr. Salsa. The final boss, Dame Azaria, consul of the Provisional Empire, is the villain. Shocker. She wants the mystery box for some reason and she's the one that kidnapped the stepmom and the 2 friends. So Sparrow and Co go meet with the Empire consul to free their kidnappees. Azaria tries to get the stepmom to open the mystery box, but she resists. So Azaria and her guards use their compelling abilities to control the minds of everybody in the room. Because they got some magical necklaces to do that, they start chanting their spells and I was wondering, how are our heroes going to get out of this mess? And oh boy, was I far from imagining what was about to happen. This seriously surpasses everything I could have expected. Ever. The Empire Consul got arrested for, and I quote, unlicensed poetry. These people killed quite a lot of folks, kidnapped a few, tried to take over the city, and they are getting arrested for making rhymes. I don't care what you say. This is the best. So, everything is pretty much resolved at this point. Sparrow gets out of every little problem he got himself into along the way. One thing I didn't address until now is the whole racism thing. It made me uncomfortable. Of course, it's a very real issue. Trust me, I know. And it's a discussion that can be had in fantasy as well. But in the context of this story, it was just weird. It kept coming up out of nowhere multiple times and it ended up making me severely cringe. Like, why bring it up at all? It's only after my 11th eye roll that Tuss the Wizard suggested that Sparrow pulled this whole stunt on purpose to have people underestimate him. And I was like, oh, that's some sneaky sneakiness. Sparrow refused to comment on that though, so I guess we'll never know. Oh wait, did I mention they casually blew up the mayor and his furnace house? Abra-kaboom! There go fireworks of ashes and corpses, making Dragon's mouth a bit more stinky. And just when you think it's over, there's one more twist we part on. Luton was the one to send the message! Excuse me? So he's a hairdresser, a surgeon, and the very own Hoid of this universe. Well, this was a ride. Stranger Back Home reminded me a bit of Kings of the Wild. Both books have a similar energy in my opinion. If I had to describe it, I'd say it's an out-of-control D&D campaign. And when it comes to D&D, out of control is the best. The narration is fun and witty. Sparrow speaks and addresses the reader as if he's speaking to an audience. He even mentions he's talking to an audience at times. This allows some fourth wall breaking to happen and I liked it. The footnotes are a nice touch. They are hilarious and completely complete the fun overall tone of the story. I wish the story was a little more focused on the safe mystery. A lot of the time, it didn't feel like we were working towards that at all. We were just doing random things until finally we remembered we had to take care of that whole thing. Now, I wonder if this isn't just a piece of a bigger story, and if the other books telling Sparrow's tale aren't connected to this one after all. But you know what? It's fine. I might never know what's inside the mystery box, but at least I had fun. While we're still here, Stranger Back Home is the first self-pub of a chain of videos I'm preparing for this summer. More are to come, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Bye, witches! And Arthur and Zizo are best boys.